Welcome sa klase natin ngayon in JEC 112 Week 8. So, it is indeed the last topic and I think in our midterms. So, how important is this topic? Convention between United States of America and Britain, delimiting the boundary between the Philippine archipelago and the state of North of Borneo. Kasi, example, delimiting the boundary. May nakikita ka bang issue of boundary in the Philippines right now? In our seas, in our lands? Meron ba? Wala? Of course, meron. And it is indeed important to know this. Ano bang nangyari dito? And let's proceed. So, here's our learning objectives. So, by the end of this lesson, the students will be able to analyze the provision of this convention, discuss the matters of delineation between United Philippines and North Borneo. So, proclamation, basahin natin. Whereas a convention between the United States of America and His Majesty the King of Great Britain, Ireland and British dominions beyond the seas, Emperor of India, delimiting definitely the boundary between Philippine archipelago, the territory acquired by the United States of America by virtue of treaties on December 10, 1998 and November 7, 1900 with Her Majesty, Queen Regent of Spain. So indeed, how important is this is that may binigyan talaga tayo ng Amerika, ng kasunduan to sa convention na to, ng boundary. So, since binigyan tayo ng boundary, ang other country din, may boundary din sila. And how is it na yung other country does not respect the boundary we have right now? So, and with Her Majesty, the Queen Regent of Spain and the state of North Borneo, which is under British protection, was concluded and signed by their respective plenipotentiaries at Washington on the second day of January. 1,980, 1930, the original of its convention is word follows. The President of the United States of America and His Majesty King of Great Britain, Ireland, and the British dominions beyond the seas. So on December 10, 1998, and November 7, 1900, with Her Majesty Queen Regent of Spain and the state of North Borneo, which is under British protection, have resolved to conclude a convention for that purpose and have appointed as their plenipotentiaries. And also, the President of the United States of America, Henry S. Stimson, or Secretary of the State of the United States, and His Majesty the King of Great Britain, Ireland, and the British dominions beyond seas, Emperor of India. Now, for Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the Right Honorable Sir Esme Howard, GCB, GCMG, CBO, His Majesty Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Washington, who having communicated to each other their perspective of full powers, found a good and due form, have agreed upon the concluded following articles. So, ano yung inagreehan nila articles? So, basahin natin ano to. So, it is hereby agreed and declared. It is already declared by those powerful leaders, United States, Great Britain, and other, in terms of deciding what boundary we have and how long it is. So it is hereby agreed and declared that the line separating the islands belonging to the Philippines, Philippine archipelago, on one hand, and the islands belonging to the state of Borneo, which is under British protection, on the other hand, shall be and is hereby established as follows. Hence, due to north and meridian and of longitude 190 degrees east, 190 degrees, so take note of this, east of Greenwich of its, with parallel of 4 degrees 42 minutes north latitude. Hence, in a straight line, approximately through passing between Little Bacogan Islands and Great Bacogan Islands to the intersection parallel 6 degrees and 17 minutes north naman latitude, and the meridian of longitude of 117 degrees 58 minutes east naman din. Ito yung pagkakadivide ng boundaries, the latter point being the boundary defined by the treaty between United States or Treaty of Paris on December 10, 1898. Article 2. The line described above as indicated on charts number 4707 and 4720 published by the United States Coast and Geodetic Survey, corrected to July 24, 1922, portions of both charts so marked being attached to this treaty and made a part thereof. It is agreed that if more accurate surveying is and mapping of NORIO, so inaccurate na yung survey na, so the Philippine Islands and intervening islands shall in future show that the line described above does not pass between Little Bakungan and Great Bakungan Islands, substantially as indicated on chart number 4720. So above does not pass between. Take note of this. So Mangsi Great Reefs, as indicated in charts number 4720, the boundary shall be understood to be defined in that area as a straight line. There is indeed the straight line drawn from the intersection of the parallel of north latitude from north and meridian longitude of east Greenwich, passing through Mangsi Channel as indicated on attached chart number 4720 to a point on parallel of north latitude. So Article 3 naman tayo, all islands to the north, take note of this, and to the east in the sideline, all islands and rock transverse by the sideline, should there be any such, okay, shall belong to Philippine Archipelago. So ito pala yung belong natin. And all islands to the south and the west said shall be belong to the state of Borneo. Okay, makikita natin sa mapa dito kung ano talaga. Kung alam mo lang talaga yung north, east, south, west, you can know our boundaries talaga. Article 4. North on Borneo, of the other hand, in consequence of the establishment of the line fixed by the preceding articles, present in the event of high contracting party ceding, selling, leasing, and transferring any of the islands in question, the third party provision shall be made for the continued application to such island, and aforementioned Article 19 of the treaty between United States of America, British, France, Italy, and Japan, limiting naval arraignment. So there is indeed establishment of line fix sa mga counties na to, signed by Washington. At Washington on February 6, it was signed in Washington, itong dito, line na to, provided the treaty is still forced at the time of secession, sale, lease, and transfer. So ito yung nangyari. Article 5, the present convention shall be ratified by the President of the United States. So walang pwedeng mag-ratify dito, okay? Kundi United States lang, President of the United States, by and with the advice of the consents of the Senate by His Majesty, and shall come into force of exchange of the acts of ratification which shall take place at Washington as soon as possible. So in witness whereof respective Philippines have signed the same, have affixed thereto their respective seals, done in duplicate to Washington 2nd January, okay, may duplicate nangyari dito, done in duplicate at Washington 2nd day of January in the year of our Lord 1930. Take note of this, may nangyaring duplication, okay? So questions to ponder behind this. Ito na yung sinayna nila. Okay? Ito yung by President Henry Stimson. Herbert Hoover pala, and Secretary Stimson, National Territory. Questions to ponder. I-ponder mo to. This is not a requirement. So China, you know China, right? China has been very aggressive in its claim of most parts of the South China Sea or West Philippine Sea. How would you use this convention between the United States of America and Great Britain delimiting boundaries between Philippine Archipelago and the state of North Borneo as a counter evidence of the Philippines in defeating its territory and sovereignty? Take note this, pakalalabas na sa essay natin. Okay? So, this is not requirements for now. I don't think so in our midterms. Baka magkalalabas to. Next topic, second topic natin ngayon sa week 8 natin is minutes of the proceeding of the national territory of 1971 Constitutional Convention. So, learning objectives dito, examine the contents naman of the minutes of the proceeding of the national territory in 1971 Constitutional Convention. So, ano yung minutes na nangyari doon? Define national territory, justify claims of the Philippines. So, meron tayong mga, I think, the treaty, okay, convention, okay? So, right now, anong nangyari talaga doon? Yan yung itatakil natin sa minutes. So it happened on February 11, Friday. Take note kung Friday ba or Thursday, hindi Monday. 11 in 1972. At 8 a.m., so President Diosdado Macapagal called the session to order. Delegate Fernando Bautista led the signing of the national anthem. Siya yung nag-lead. Delegate Benjamin E. Abubakar derived the invocation. Suspension of session. Suspend siya. The session was suspended on 8, take note, 8 a.m. So, resumption of session. Nag-resume siya 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. on that specific day. Declaration of quorum. So, 298 delegates were recorded present. It was 298 delegates. The following were recorded absent. Okay? So, sila yung mga absent. Take note. They were not present. Dami nila 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 absent from Delegate Damian Aldaba up to Delegate Jose Yolo Jr. They were the absent, 11 absent, 11 delegate absent. Upon certification of the Secretary, the Chair declared the existence of the quorum. Floor Leader Carlos G. Valdez moved to defer consideration the item agenda, continuation of consideration of the committee report number 1. Report number 1 of the committee on the preamble of national territory. There being no objection, the motion was approved. Okay. Floor Leader Valdez recommended that committee reports numbers 1 and 2 of the Committee of National Territory be considered, and asked Delegate Eduardo Cantero, Committee of Chairman, be recognized. So upon the recognition by Chair, Delegate Quintero stated that this committee was sponsoring the exclusion of the following Article 1. So ito yung Article 1. So, our national territory of the Philippines shall be the archipelago name, shall be the name archipelago of the name. So, kaya nga, Philippine Archipelago. The historic home of the Filipino people from its beginning, whose boundaries are set forth in Article 3 of the Treaty of Paris. So, ito yung nangyari. So, you can see this in Article 3 sa last lesson natin, Treaty of Paris. Concluded between United States of Spain 10th day, December 1898. Together with all the islands embraced the treaty included at Washington between the United States and Spain in November. Okay? So also in Section 2, all waters around and between connecting various islands of the Philippines archipelago, irrespective of the winds, widths, or dimension, are considered necessary appurtenance of land territory. Kailangan talaga sakop natin yan. Forming part of the inland and interwaters of the Philippines. Sakop yun ang Pilipinas. Section 3, all the waters beyond outermost islands of the archipelago within boundaries set forth in the Treaties Convention mentioned in Section 1 herefore comprise territorial sea. So ito yung territorial sea ng Philippines. What's that? What are the territorial seas? Question to ponder. Section 4, the sovereignty of the Philippines extends beyond its land territory and its external waters to a breadth adjacent to its coast, described as the territorial sea. So ito yung territorial sea. Ito yung coast na yan. Okay? Said sovereignty also extend over the air space. Sa papawid na naman space above its land, its internal waters, territory, sea, and its land, its seabed, and its subsoil. Okay? So Section 5, the National Assembly shall define control Philippines will exercise in the contiguous zone and in the super-adjacent waters of continental shelf. He suggested that the panel sponsor first allowed to present the land committee before interpellations were entertained. So, suspension of meeting on 9:50, resumption 9:53. So, Delegate Quintero proceeded define following terms archipelago. Ano ba itong definition to? So, ano ba yung definition ng archipelago? High seas or territorial seas or inland waters. So, Delegate Custodios A. Villalba pointed out yung erroneous technical description of Philippines territory in Article 3 of the Treaty of Paris in December 10, 1898, which was adopted in Article 1 of the present Constitution. He stated that the treaty fixed the northern boundary, so it fixed the northern boundary along 28th north latitude, okay? Thus excluding Batanes. It excludes Batanes po sa northern. Okay? Citing historical facts, he said that Batanes has been part of the Philippines since the Spanish regimes. He then recommended the approval of Section A of committee reports. So, kaya nga sa atin yung Batanes ngayon. Delegate A. Voltaire Garcia II suggested the derogation of the article, arguing that international law should govern delimitation of the national territory. So adjourn meeting. Upon the motion, floor leader Valdez, the session was adjourned at 9 a.m. the following day. It was 10:58 a.m. I hereby certify the correctness of the foregoing. So, SGD Jose de Abueva. So, ito yung secretary, floor leaders natin. Floor leader Garcia announced that the next agenda consider the revised article of the National Secretariat, and as Delegate Eduardo Quintero, chairman of the Committee on National Committee, be recognized. So, upon recognition of Chair Delegate Quintero presented the revised draft article and read the names of the authors of various amendments incorporated therein, he then moved to its approval. So, reading as follows. So, Article number 1, National Territory. So, the National Territory, listen to this, of the Philippine Archipelago, so ito na yung tawag, Philippine Archipelago, which is the ancestral home of the Filipino people, and which is composed of all islands and waters embraced therein, and all other territories belonging to the Philippines by historic right or legal title, including territorial sea, airspace, subsoil, seabed, continental shelf, and other submarine areas over which the Philippines has sovereignty or jurisdiction. The waters around, between, and connecting the islands of the archipelago, respective of their breadth and dimension, form part of the internal waters of the Philippines. So, interpolating, Delegate Felix Berto Serrano suggested that consists in line 1 called enumeration. Bakit? At waters around in line 11 was ambiguous pala. Delegate Quintero explained that the points brought to taken care of the committee and style. Delegate Emmanuel Santos explained that the continental shelf, continental slope, and continental rise would constitute the continental margin implied to other submarine areas in line 9. Delegate Pedrix Mudo inquired if historic right in line 6 referred to the territories ceded in Spain to the United States under the Treaty of Paris. Delegate Quero replied in the affirmative. So, Delegate Anacleto Badoy Jr. observed that the word belonging, ito yung word, the word belonging would not provide for future territorial acquisition. He suggested that all waters within the territorial boundaries instead of waters around. Ito yung suggestion na in line. Delegated replied that Committee on Style considered the matter. Noting the absence of explanatory note to the revised draft, Delegate Antonio R. Tupaz moved that the records in the committee proceeding during revision of the draft be included in the journal. The chair suggested that the motion be made at the proper time. Delegate Tupaz obliged. Delegate Pedro Valdez asked if the word subsoil and seabed included mineral and marine resources. Speaking in behalf, so including nga ba the word seabed? Speaking in behalf of committee delegate Justino A. Hermoso replied in the affirmative naman. Delegate Midpantaw L. Adel observed that the Sulu Archipelago should be properly defined in the article. So, Delegate Manuel, so siya yung nag-define talaga. Delegate Midpantaw Adel, Sulu Archipelago must be defined in this article. Delegate Manuel A. Concordia inquired if the revision draft implied the acquisition of the territory through purchase. Delegate Quintero replied in the affirmative. He affirms this. Delegate Roseller T. Lim proposed that the term Philippine Archipelago be legally defined in the article. Delegate Quintero explained that committee had decided to avoid any mention of treaties between powers which colonized Philippines. Okay, so Delegate Inspector suggested national territory be defined simply in terms of land, internal waters, and seabed, and to avoid redundancy. So, redundant pala daw. So, Delegate Victor L. Lacerna inquired, belonging to the Philippines by historic right or legal title in lines 5 and 6 implied that the country was already asserting sovereignty over. Okay, so sabi niya dito, ito daw word na to, belonging, is an assertion of territory sovereignty. Now, Delegate Samuel C. Usanya naman moved to the previous question submitted above. The motion was approved 119-4. Delegate Rogelio Rogelio Panotes inquired that the draft was still open for effective amendments. Chair was replied in the negative. Citing Section 7, Rule 5, Part 3 of Rules, Delegate Panotes pointed out that the amendments were in order after the main debate. The chair ruled that a motion for the previous question could be made at any time and that once approved, such motion would end debate. Delegate Rodolfo A. Ortiz requested that these remarks on the draft be inserted in the journal of the convention. The request was granted. Delegate Badoy moved for reconsideration of the vote on the motion for the previous question. Submitted a vote. The motion was lost 49 to 80. Delegate Padua requested that his interpretation of territorial sea inserted in the journal. The request was granted. Rising to the point of order, Delegate Aquilino Pimentel said that the body should be informed the nature of the documents being made part of the journal. So let's move on. So suspension of session. The session suspended on 9/5/29. Resumption of session on 5/44. So they had the meeting and suspension of session. The session was resumed on 5:56. Resumption of session resumed on 6 p.m. And also, let's move on. Meeting sila ulit. Suspension of session move on to 6:29. Resumption of session naman on 6:35 p.m. Also, the adjournment of session upon the motion of leader, the session was adjourned until 8 a.m. the following day. It was 7 p.m. I hereby certify the correctness of the foregoing. So, Jose D. Baba yung secretary. So, mga floor leaders natin, Honorable Sia, Garcia, and Olmedo. And source, the source is 1971 Constitutional Convention Records. So, ito yung source. Volume, ito yung volume niya, February 1972. So, here's our learning activity. So, by the way, lagyan natin not a requirement, but it is indeed a question to ponder. Question to ponder. Now, how did the 1972 Constitutional Convention finally define national territory? How did they define national territory? Can we use this document to argue the claim the rights of Philippine Islands being claimed by China? Why or why not? Okay. So, thank you.